Monday Motivational Madness. A crazy good way to start your week.
Hola, my amazing Rogue Artist family. This is the first year that we have all our orders out beforehand. There's still some stragglers, but those are all local, so those are things that we could take care of. And obviously I have this big giant painting that I'm going to be shipping very soon, but luckily that's not for Christmas. But this video is not about that. This video is something based on some comments and some different stuff that I've seen from you guys just across the internet, either on Instagram or on Discord or somewhere else. It made me think from the beginning that fear of approaching something new, like a new venue, especially if it is a venue or where the people there might seem like they're out of your league, like you're out of their league. I remember back in a day, I would think about talking to different people in the museums or, even the local museum here, the Pensacola Museum of Art, and how absolutely and completely terrifying that was, or how even just approaching a gallery was terrifying, because it was almost like, here's this person that is of this caliber, and here I am slinking in all slimy and stuff here's my art. Falling into the standard of categorizing yourself less than whoever it is that you're approaching simply because, I don't know, perceptions maybe? And it made me think of something that I came up with earlier, and I know you guys have heard me say this, of, everybody poos. Everybody poos. And so whenever you find yourself feeling really nervous because you're about to interact with someone who you think you're not in their league, I always remind myself that chances are they were pinching one out that morning. And this isn't the most eloquent video that you guys will see from me, but it was just something I was thinking about this morning. I think this goes a little further. I don't think that it's only about identifying yourself and really labeling yourself when you are interacting with other humans, but it also comes to the ideas that you have, the things that you want to do, and put yourself out there. I hear so many people ask, do you think that this is good? Do you think that this will work? And I know what they're doing because I've done that so many times in my life. It's almost like you want to get permission from other people to let you know that your idea is any good. The thing is that if you run an idea by someone else, right? Which I'm not saying not to do that, but if you run an idea by someone else, they are going to voice their concerns, because they're going to look at it from a perspective that is through their own filter. So they might look at it and be like, I don't know. Or they'll have an idea of this is the way that you're approaching it. Whatever. Either way, they're not in your own mind. Early in the beginning, I was terrified to approach galleries because I thought that they were at a higher caliber than I was. I remember doing an event. It was a charity event, and it was a black tie charity event, and it was a lot of money to get a table at this event. And so everybody that was there were the wealthy old money people from town. And I remember going to this event, and I've got my tuxedo, and obviously it's a secondhand tuxedo that I found at the secondhand store, and Clee was dressed beautifully. She was dressed to the nines, and I felt like I was just walking around this frumpy kid with a tuxedo that didn't fit. But basically what was happening was I felt like an imposter. I was there and I didn't belong there, even though I was one of the artists auctioning off my piece. That led to a miserable experience for me. What's interesting about that hindsight, and I wish I could go back and do that event over again, was that I closed off. So instead of talking to people the way that I usually talk to people, it was almost like I was walking on eggshells, trying to make sure that I didn't screw up. And by doing that, I just wasn't being myself. I wasn't reaching out to people. And I've had that feeling too back in the beginning when I would approach galleries, when I would approach museums, when I would approach businesses even. And I think that it was after that I developed the idea of you know what? everybody poos, and really, really focusing on that and realizing, like, whenever you get nervous, just remember, chances are they pinched one out that morning. They are human. They're just a human being. The other thing that I've heard artists do is, like, they generalize things, right? So, like, they'll generalize, well, galleries are blah, 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 or museums are blah, blah, blah. And so, like, they generalize every single gallery or every single museum into this thing, saying, like, this is how they treat artists, or this is how they whatever. And the truth is that you're dealing with people. You're always just dealing with people. And again, everybody poos. Everybody scratches an itch. Everybody sweats when they're hot. It's just, we're all the same when it comes to these things. And nobody, despite the way that society wants you to see people in these different tiers and rungs of financial status or whatever it is, it doesn't work that way. Human beings are human beings, and whether or not they are wealthy, whether or not they have a certain status, whether or not they have a certain history or background, yes, some people tout that stuff because their identity comes from that. And it's very easy to recognize when you're not sitting there judging yourself. You may approach those people and realize that they're so insecure that they need to tout their status, they need to tout their position, they need to tout how much money they make. And that's fine, because that's all insecurity, and you don't have to deal with them. It shouldn't generalize whether or not you approach a museum, whether or not you approach an online art contest, whether or not you approach a virtual gallery or an actual gallery. I think really what it comes down to is a lot of times we make up an excuse to not approach these things, and then we'll generalize them as this thing because really we're afraid. We're afraid of being rejected. We're afraid of someone saying something and thinking that we are less than, and the only reason that it stings is because somewhere inside of us we think that we're less than. None of us are less than anyone. It doesn't matter if it is the director of, like, some big shot museum. It doesn't matter if it is a big popular gallery. It doesn't matter if it is a prestigious show. Human beings are human beings, and you approach them that way. And when you have an idea, don't concern yourself with the way that other people will respond to it, because it's along the same lines of that whole thing. Just put it out there and see if it works. One of the ideas that I was thinking about, and it's one of those ideas where, it's something that I've wanted to do, but back in the day I was like, oh, people will not consider me an artist if I do this, was after I had the idea that, everybody poos. I created this guy, and you guys have seen him, right? This is the little smiley poo guy that I created, and he's got a little piece of corn there. Yeah, I know it's gross. This little guy is a reminder of the fact that, like, whenever I find myself comparing myself to someone else and maybe seeing myself as less, everybody poos. Everybody poos. So just remember that next time you are nervous about an interview, nervous about what somebody's going to think when they look at your resume, nervous about what somebody's going to think about when they look at your art, whatever status or whatever it is that they have. Just think about that. Like, they're just people, and whatever it is that they think, that's just their opinion. And there are billions of other people out there, and not billions, but thousands of institutions and thousands of galleries and thousands of everything. And everybody is going to have a different opinion, and they're going to have a different motive. They're going to have different insecurities. They're going to have different things. The only thing that you should really be focused on is, what are you bringing to the table? What insecurities do you have? What do you feel most empowered by? If you focus on that, then your interaction is all going to be about your experience. If you're focused on what they think or what they're going to think of you, then you're not really learning anything from the experience. So yeah, so that's it. That's my video for the day. I just wanted to share that with you because I was totally thinking about that. Whatever. Just remember, everybody poos. That's what I'm leaving you with. All right, that's it. I adore you guys. Adios.